Just do a mic check, make sure I can hear you.
Hello.
Hello.
Fran, can you hear everyone?
Yeah, I can this time.
Okay, sorted. Okay, so hello everybody and welcome to Wednesday Night Live with M&A.
Tonight we are talking demons and would love to hear your thoughts.
So, have you ever encountered a demon or experienced demonic activity?
Or maybe you don't believe in demons at all and think they are purely fiction. We want to hear your opinions too.
So before we hear from everyone else, we're going to kick things off with the team's views on demons, starting with Jodie.
Right, guys. Right, I have prepared a little something. There's quite a lot on this page, so bear with me. So, as I say, I've been a believer of demons all my life, pretty much. Demons under your bed, demons in your closet, stuff like that. Things that the list is endless of where you pick where demons are, don't you? But there's one in particular moment with with demons that springs to my mind is when we went to the British Railway tunnels, and I wholly believe there was a demon there. To be fair, because the way that it was saying it could have been a succubus, because it was saying to Chris, "Come to me," wasn't it? So there's definitely got to be something there like that. I also believe demons, portrayed in films, they've got to be based on something. I'm only perusing through what I've put here. I'm not reading through every single bit, otherwise it takes forever.
Okay.
But there's one film about a demon that I want to go into just a little bit, and that's The Exorcist. Because it's actually based on an Akkadian demon, Pazuzu, and he's the demon king of the Southwest Wind. And although Pazuzu is considered an evil demon in the film, in fact, he was supposed to have frightened away the evil spirits, therefore protecting humans against plagues and misfortunes. So he wasn't that bad after all. So, I don't believe all demons are bad. I believe that there's a lot of good demons out there. And we always majority of us associate demons with being bad.
Yeah.
I don't. So, there's a little bit about
So I'm surprised actually, because I said in the comment in the description of the video that as a team we haven't really spoken about demons between each other before.
No.
So this is the first time it's really come up into conversation, and I'm surprised that was your answer to do you believe demons that way. I didn't know that, so that's interesting. Talking about succubus, do you think, because there's allegedly a succubus in the ancient Ram Inn, that I'm going to have to apologise to everyone. I've got the washing machine going, it's on spin at the moment, so it's going to be really noisy. But yeah, the ancient Ram Inn is said to be home to a succubus.
I believe that, yeah.
Now, during that evening, after the fear experiment, you had that little episode where you couldn't physically move, had to be carried out of the room. Do you think that could have been a succubus responsible for that?
I believe so, yeah. I mean, it's something like that anyway, because it was very strong, and as you saw, it took Nathan and Brian. They're quite strong lads to actually pick me up and take me out of the room.
Yeah.
Someone wanted me to stay there, and that was in the bishop's room. So, whether it was a succubus or a succubi, which is the male equivalent, could well have been a gay demon.
Because so that's interesting. If anyone else watching has got any comments, if they've been to a location that is supposedly home to a demon, do let us know. We've heard from Fran. No, we haven't. We've heard from Jodie, so I think we'll hear from Fran next on your views.
Well, yeah, great beard you've got going on there, Fran. No, yeah, I think I'm pretty much on the fence when it comes to demons. It's a strange one. I know lots of people claim to have had some experience with them. I never have, but I can't just dismiss them and say they don't exist just because I've not seen one or never kind of encountered one. But I'm one of these people. I do like all the theories behind different demons and the stories as well. And I have to agree with Jodie to a point that not all demons are actually evil. If you actually look at the original sort of biblical stories about how Beelzebub and Satan were created, they were actually angels that were fallen and had their wings taken off them. So they started off as good. So there must be some goodness still there, surely. And then my favourite demon, so to speak, is Lilith, the mother of all monsters and the first witch.
Yeah.
Who was also Adam's first wife before Eve.
That's right, yeah. And
Yeah.
I think if the story goes that's why she was turned into a demon, because she left Adam in the Garden of Eden, if I believe that's how the story goes.
There's several different variations through kind of all different religious scripts and the story I know of Lilith is that she refused to be Adam's servant and slave, and she actually wanted to be equal to Adam. And because she wanted to be equal to Adam, because she was made of the same clay and felt she should have the same rights, she was cast out of the garden by Adam and God.
Yeah.
Which is why Eve was created with Adam's rib.
Yeah.
And it was
if you actually talking sorry
yeah, it was outside the garden. Then she fell in love with a demon.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So if you're actually talking about not all demons being evil, if you actually look back into the origins of the word demon, the original meaning of demon wasn't necessarily a evil spirit. It was a spirit. It was some kind of spirit, and they could be evil or good, that either foretold of something that was going to happen, or that were that whatever. They weren't all necessarily evil. But then it's only since religion came along that they sort of, and a lot of cultures use demons as excuses for anything that happens. So, for example, huge drought, massive famine, it's because there's a demon in
the demons were, the devils were.
That's it. So, illness, even bad behavior has all been blamed over the years on demon activity. So I'm going to pop off in a second to go and get a drink. So I think next we'll hear from Chris. Chris is with us. He's backstage. But if Chris takes me off and adds himself in, he can explain to you his views on demons while I just pop off and get a drink.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably fallen asleep. He hasn't posted any comments. I'm thinking either nobody's commenting or he's fallen asleep or something.
You there, Chris?
Oh, a comment.
Oh, we have life out the back.
Hunter. Yeah.
Yep, sorry about that.
Oh, there he is.
Hey,
right, so
you still awake then?
Yeah, I'm still awake. I was watching, so I was
Chris,
watching.
if you just take me off, I'm gonna pop to get a drink.
Okay. Right, so before I go on with mine, so that's Anne's comment. Just dark spirits, not actual demons. I agree with Anne. I've never been. I think in the beginning, when I started this, I was trying to absorb as much knowledge as I could and sort of be as open-minded as I could. So things that were happening, I was interpreting them to be something maybe they weren't. I'm not really sure anymore that I believe they exist. I've not really seen any evidence that they do.
What about the original Forever Tunnel?
I'm not as far as we've gone now. I'm not sold that it is anything like that. Mm-hmm. I think with some of the entities I've learned about, it could quite easily be something else, or just someone else that's, whose power is more dominant than the others. You have people in life that can assert themselves over other people. They have that emotional energy. So it stands to reason that once the physical body is lost and they're in the world of spiritual energy purely, and they're a spirit, the rules change. So if their energy is superior, they might be able to subjugate other spirits. In theory, that works. So I'm not really sure. I do believe that demons exist as a religious figure, as what they are painted to be. I believe there are all sorts of beings out there of different alignments, different energies with different goals, but I don't believe in demons as such. I know John Judge Jeffries has had lots of about that. Yeah, Jodie was overpowered. I like that. Go back. He was totally overpowered that night. Now, this was at the very beginning. This is when Rob helped me open the door, and I had to step through. Now, I was gobsmacked at the fact that nothing would come near me. I'm starting to actually understand why nothing would approach me and who is actually in my corner at the moment. And I'm not surprised it didn't come anywhere near me, to be fairly honest with you. One strong woman behind you is enough. I seem to have two. But what happened, to clarify what happened in that night, there's something that isn't really on the camera as much, is my feeling as though people were moving in the room. Whoever the entity wasn't interested in getting anywhere close to me. But what he was interested was going around everybody else and seeing who was the weakest of the pack, seeing who he could pick on. And I could feel him moving around the room, and I'm trying to figure out what he's doing or she's doing. It just made no sense to me until Jodie approached the chair. And then all of a sudden, this energy just intensified, and it was very negative. And it almost, like I would describe it as when I get quite irate very quickly. It literally was that feeling. I was like, Jodie, back off. And then as he seemed to sort of have like a funny turn after he got near that chair, and he sort of started to feel weak. But I think what actually happened during the night was he came too close, and I think he got drained of energy just too quickly. It's almost like, if I have to put a scientific explanation on it, it's almost like when you get up too quickly, your system cannot acclimate fast enough. You stand, if you're too tired and your muscles haven't got the energy, or your brain doesn't have the energy, you stand up too quickly and your body can't adjust. It can't process that sensation or those electrical impulses quick enough. So your equilibrium and your muscles are all thrown off, and you feel so dizzy. And it's that energy transfer which I think got a little disrupted when you tried to go somewhere near that chair, and that being sitting in that chair, I think you got more than a little drained of of energy. So as far as, I mean, we were talking about it the other day, me and Michelle, and we were having a laugh, sort of at your expense. I do apologise, but we're having a bit of a giggle. Maybe it was a succubus. Maybe she was interested in Jodie, you know, girlfriend ho. But no, demons, no. I don't.
The things that I could say, no, not on live, no. Nothing bad to you, just things I could say.
But no, I think all that time I spent after, I'm going to bring Shell back in there.
Oh,
I think all that time, if I have to look back, I don't know if Fran will agree with me, if I have to look back at the tunnel, after the tunnel, if I came so close to something negative, I'm assuming the people that were always in my corner, and I just didn't know until recently, would have been staying with me to make sure that I wasn't under any threat of what's the word I'm looking for? Corruption or affliction. Just making sure I'm not being attacked or whatnot, or attached to. I think that's I would say that was the feeling of someone always hovering around me. Was that it was more someone looking out for me to make sure that I wasn't in any danger. But demons, no, absolutely not. Right, I'm going to remove myself, and I believe it is time for our first guest.
I haven't said my views yet.
Haven't you?
My opinion's not counting anymore, Christopher.
Yes, they do.
In the doghouse.
Yeah, Shell, can we hear your views now, please?
Yes, we can. Let's go for it. So I probably sit with Fran. So I sit a little bit on the fence with this one. I do believe there's possibly demons. I don't know that what we see in the movies is all true. I wouldn't say that's all true. But then I'm a strong believer that these stories have to have come from somewhere. So I do actually believe that vampires exist. I do actually believe that werewolves exist. So obviously demons could possibly exist as well. I've got a werewolf, he's in the office. But yeah, so I do believe, I believe it somewhat, but until I see absolute proof, then I think I'll still sit on the fence. It's interesting because I was talking to Nathan from Paranormal Detectives about this the other day, and he said if you'd have asked him quite a while ago, he would say, no, there's no such thing as demons. But now, since we've been doing this and, you know, as time goes on, things that have happened, locations that he's been to, has sort of changed his mind a little bit on demons. And he does sort of believe now that there could be something to it. So it's an interesting topic for sure. So, okay, Chris, when you're ready, you can add in our first guest. So our first guest is Russell Philips from ESM Paranormal. He is a demonologist as well as a paranormal investigator. I'll have to clarify with him whether he is psychic or sensitive or what he classes himself as there. I'm not entirely sure. I know he does readings and things on his page, but he knows a little bit about demons, so we thought we'd get him on to come and give us a bit of knowledge. He's probably going to correct everything we've said so far because we've probably been totally wrong, but
hey,
it'd be good to hear from him. So
this is why we've got him on.
Exactly. So we were hoping to have a second guest later on in the show. Unfortunately, she's had to pull out last minute, literally 5 minutes before the show, because of a tragedy. she, well, I can't really go into too much detail because I haven't really spoken to her fully about what she does or anything, but she claims to work with demons, so was hoping to have a listen to what she had to say and hear her views and opinions, but unfortunately she's had to drop out. And so we do have a spot to fill. So if anyone watching would like to join us live to have their say, then please drop a comment and one of us will send you a link to the chat to come and join us. The cat's just gone out the window behind me. But yeah, is there any questions popping up, Chris? Because we obviously can't see any of the comments coming in.
So
See, everyone else has got 2 devices on the go, so they can check the comments, but I haven't.
Yeah, I can't see any new ones on
That's what
Facebook. That's what I'm checking. I am just reloading just in case, because I know what Facebook's like for not bringing up messages when you're on a live.
Yeah. So we had a little technical issue when we first started tonight. We couldn't hear, Fran couldn't hear us. So, oh.
There we go.
Hi, Russ.
Hiya, how you doing?
Not too bad.
You can hear me all right,
so
yeah?
Hopefully I've introduced you right. But if you just want to let people know what you are, what you do, who you are.
Okay. So I'm a founding member of ESM Paranormal. I'm also a published author on paranormal investigation. I'm a demonologist and a parapsychologist, and I run a parapsychology course and a demonology course also.
Okay, so far we've just been, I don't know if you've watched any of the videos so far, but we've all had our little views on whether we believe in demons and that, and I think for the most part, most of us do sort of believe, but Chris is a bit skeptical, well, a lot skeptical. So being a demonologist then, that implies that you do believe in demons?
Yes and no. So demonology goes a lot deeper than sort of like the demons we know nowadays. You know, they were once guardians, and it wasn't spelled Deamons, it was spelled Daemons.
Yeah.
So they were gods, they were worshipped by sort of pagans, other ancestors and stuff like that. You've also got the Christian ones, which were the fallen angels. And you've also got the modern interpretation of demons and stuff like that. I've never encountered one. I'm open-minded. I've always remained open-minded on it. But out of something about 250 clearances I've done, which are possible demon possessions or demon invasions in houses and stuff, I haven't yet come across one.
No. So out of all of the demons that there possibly are, do you have one that you would like never wish to come across?
I think the way I kind of see things now as a demonologist and stuff like that, so as soon as an entity comes up and someone names that as a demon, you're then giving them that power over you. So I will look at everything as a dark entity, because I won't give them that status of demon. Because as soon as you give them that status of demon, they're going to be a lot harder to get rid of. If you treat them all like a dark entity, psychologically, they're a lot easier to get rid of.
Yeah. If you guys have questions, jump in and feel free to ask a question. Don't let me take over. So we've been through that. Is there any? Oh, I don't know. So reading up on demons, then we've had a little look this week, and we were originally, if we didn't have a guest, we were just going to go through a few demons that we come across online and things. So out of all of the demons that you know of that have been talked about throughout history, do you have one that's your favourite? Like Fran's favourite demon is Lilith, she said earlier. So do you have one that, you know?
There's quite a few. I mean, it depends because it's on what lineage of demon you're going on. Because obviously you've got Jewish demons, you've got
Yeah.
Christian demons, you've got and they all kind of overlap. So I mean, I'd have to go with the obvious. And if we're going with the Christian form of demon, I would probably say Lucifer or Abascus.
Right.
There would be two. But I mean, if you look at the Christian descriptions and stuff, that kind of doesn't leave any. It doesn't allow many people to believe once you see sort of like how the Christians drew them and stuff. You know, it looks like some New Age tattoo work.
Yeah.
And yeah, it would be possible. One of the main common denominators with demons were because they've never had corporeal form. They will always present with a limb missing or something like that.
Yeah.
So Abascus is probably the one I wouldn't play with as much. But I do know some sort of like people who work in astral with sort of like demons and stuff like that. And they're always going on about Lilith and others like that. So but I think Abascus is one I wouldn't try summoning or playing with, or you know.
Okay. So John is asking, ask Russ about what happened at Church Oak with two of our members, Danny and Kieran.
So there was we had a dark entity there, Church Oak. It's an old they got Freemason graves, but they call it a pirate graveyard. We actually saw, again, I'm reluctant to call it a demon. It was like someone pulled a cover over the night, so it got even darker. And it started to influence Danny and Kieran towards each other. You know, Danny is she's a lesbian, and Kieran's straight and had a girlfriend of a long-term girlfriend. But whatever was influencing them, I've got it on sort of like the black and white on the night vision cam, and it was almost like they were, you know what I mean, gonna just start making out and stuff like that.
Oh wow.
So, but again, I'm reluctant to call it a demon. It's darker than anything I've encountered before, because it was like someone pulled a blanket over the already dark surrounded. It got even darker. And again, I just won't give anyone that title of demon unless they kind of earn it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, there's many situations like that, and it's sort of like I did a report for a Mysteries of the Unknown. It was called. It was a web blog, and that was on demonology in sort of like in England and the UK. And in 2010, I think there was something like 2,500 demon exorcisms carried out in the whole of England.
Oh wow.
And they're proper sanctioned exorcisms, because obviously the exorcism process, people think, right, you go to a church, a priest comes out, they do that, and that has to go to the Vatican. The Vatican then sanction it, and then they decide if they're going to get involved or not. But yeah, I mean, the majority of the cases of demonology was sort of like up here. A lot of the exorcisms were up north, sort of Yorkshire way on. Down south, I had one of the lowest. But
oh really? See, I would have thought that would be the opposite. You'd think like places like London, where there's a lot of like back in the olden times when there's a lot of poverty and stuff, and big cities with a lot of people, and you'd think that there would be more of that sort of thing down there. Do you think there's a reason why it's more up north?
I think again up here there's such a mass divide in poverty. You know, you can still get a pint up here for £2.50. Whereas in London it's like £12 now or something like that. So the poverty is a lot worse up here, and so people turn to anything they can to try and get themselves out of the situation they're in, and that may include trying to summon demons or entertaining themselves with Ouija boards or other conduits and stuff.
So we've got a question from Bob Hunt.
Okay.
There was a fort in Portsmouth supposedly haunted by a Babylonian demon who lived in the tears of mothers. Why would this happen?
Again, the only reason I could see that would happen would be if someone had summoned it. Like I said, demons need to be summoned. And also, if you're going to summon a demon, you've got to think these used to be gods. These used to be guardians, protectors, worshipped. So if someone was to summon me and I was worshipped and stuff like that, it'd be like summoning the Queen to
I'm just going
come
to
and see the state of your lounge. You know, they're just not. In my opinion, the demons just aren't going to come to you, because it would be like inviting the Queen round for, you know what I mean, a cuppa or something. They're not going to do it. They were worshipped. So why would they just come to anyone? But if that's the case, it would be either, I would say, someone's tried to summon it and actually got it accurate, because the summoning process is very so much. And very specific guidelines and stuff like that. It's all on the course sort of like that I run. Some of the exorcism rites and the summoning rites and stuff like that, they have to be exact. Like a bascus, one of the things you have to do there, as well as know the language, get the language bang on, you've also got to do the hand signals, which is a whip, and you've got to use the whip in a certain way for it to come through. It's a really, really difficult thing to do, is to summon demons. But that's what I would say.
Which is probably that it should be, really, because you don't want people summoning things all over the place.
And the thing is, as
Fraser
well,
asks a question. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's right.
Possibly a random question, but are tarot cards safe to use? Could I accidentally invite a demon in if you use tarot cards in my home? Thank you.
It is a conduit. Don't get me wrong, but my ancestry is Romany Gypsy. So all of my family have read tarot cards for as long as I remember. I read tarot cards and stuff. It's the same with anything, you know. If you're feeling down or in a bad mood or anything like that, or any form of sadness or anything like that, just don't go near anything occulty until you're feeling up to it, because parasites, if you like, will latch onto that, and that's where you get your dark entities. And if they get enough power, people will start believing them to be demons, and then they're harder to get rid of.
Yeah.
So what about you, Fran? Have you ever felt anything weird when you've been tarot reading?
No, because it's one of those things. Before I do each reading, I make a connection with my spirit guide, because I know my spirit guide will provide me guidance, but will also provide protection as well as I'm doing readings. So no negative force is going to sort of come and latch onto myself or anyone that I'm doing a reading for.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it's one of those, if I didn't feel safe doing it, I wouldn't do it.
I think that's one of the things as well. You've got to be so careful. I mean, I never leave home without my protection. So sort of like anyone that's read my book and stuff, it goes into protective stones and stuff that my ancestors would have used. And onyx is probably the best for sort of negativity and negative entities and stuff like that. So if you're going to do anything, make sure you're protected. Use your guides if you've got guides. If you haven't got guides, maybe say a prayer to whoever it is you worship, or you know, you need to feel safe in that environment and be confident in that environment, or things will latch on.
Yeah. So going back to demons, we talked earlier about the ancient ramin that we've investigated back last year, which is supposedly home to a succubus or a succubi, whichever one it is. Do you believe that's the case? Do you believe there really is one of those there? Put you on the spot now.
It's not really. It's more so sort of like with my theory on it now is, again, if something's given that revenance, it will act whatever way you want it to act. It's been given that title as a succubus, so therefore it's going to act like a succubus because it knows that's what people are scared of. He knows that's what people are looking forward to see. So it's like, here you go, you want it, have some. So
yeah,
and again with succubus and stuff like that, you know, it goes back centuries. Like I think it was an Irish thing. I think it was an Irish belief with the succubi and stuff like that. And again, it's no different than a dark entity. It will feed on negative energy. The only difference is with succubus, it feeds on sexual energy. And most demons that have been reported and recorded over time always come in the form of attractive women or attractive men to lure people into the sack and then feed on that energy. And then because there's no better way of making a connection than using sexual energy. You know, a lot of witches still practice sex magic. It's one of the strongest magics that they practice with is the sex magic, because it's one of the most powerful forces on earth. You know what I mean? No one actually really understands like love or anything like that, but you're giving yourself willingly to someone, and someone's taking that willingly. So if you give into a succubus, you're going to get what you've put into. Did you experience anything from a succubus there, or?
Well, we had a little incident. We'd done a bit of a fear experiment, so we'd all been separated from each other in our own room for just over a half an hour. And after we all gathered in the bishop's room just to congregate, we were just chatting. And we didn't have any cameras rolling, but the other guys who we did, so they caught most of it on camera. But Jodie had a funny sort of turn, I suppose you'd call it, and he lost all movement in his legs. He was frozen to the spot and had to be carried out and down the stairs by two of the guys with us.
Wow.
So we do question whether that was some sort of demon entity that did that. So since then, we have never thought about it at the time. We weren't like, oh, that was a demon. But since looking back on it, that's sort of kind of the conclusion we get.
Yeah. And it's like I said, I do think, you know, I remain open-minded with demons and stuff. I wouldn't have done a demonology course if I thought there was no truth in it whatsoever. But it's the same with like, everyone assumes that to carry out an exorcism, you need to be ordained by the Catholic Church. If you go straight to the exorcism, like I said, it has to go to the Vatican. It has to be approved. It then has to be sent through. Then the priest has to make his way to you. It has to have a place to stay. It's just more money and more money for the church. You can carry out your own exorcism or your own clearings, which again is covered in my book. And like I said, you don't have to have holy water. All water is source. So you can go down the beach, fill a bottle. It comes from source. So that is in fact holy water. So it's like I said, I think the Vatican kind of overtook on the right of it. If you look at some of the ancient times with when they were doing the live exorcisms to the crowds and stuff, it was proven that the priests were like sticking like spikes up underneath the bed, making the person weave in like panic, because it's strengthening the church's hold. Because they're like, well, no, only a Catholic priest can deal with that. Only a Catholic priest can deal with that. Well, no, it's because you were sticking spears up there to make the people believe that you were the only way of dealing with a demon. Or a lot of them were mentally ill. And you also had it with the Salem witch trials. You know, it was rye. It was a poison version of rye or something like that they made their bread with. And there was a saying at the time was, if you want to see a witch, you'll see a witch. You know, and I think what people need to know is, like I said, it's not the Catholic Church at all. If you want to go into exorcism, stuff like that, you don't need to be ordained by a Catholic Church. The chances are, if you get a Catholic priest in to get rid of a Babylonian demon, it's going to be a different language. It's going to be a different ritual. It's going to be a different thing. It's not going to work. So it's only going to just
No.
pee that demon off if it exists.
So Anne Rees is asking, what's Russ's opinion on the Zozo demon, yay or nay?
Zozo again, it was it was, I think it was a piece of fiction, wasn't it? Wasn't it back in sort of like 92 or something like that? It created. It's based. If you look at Zozo, if you were to Google Zozo and see descriptive features, you can link it to, like, you can put bits of it from every Christian demon. It's just made up of all of those bits and pieces. Again, if you do a Ouija board and you're looking for Zozo, you will find Zozo. It doesn't necessarily mean that Zozo exists. It just means someone's going to latch onto that name because that's what you've summoned. That's what you've invited in. So, hey, I'll be Zozo. Let's play. So.
Right, Fran or anyone else got any questions?
Just having a think.
What's the sort of most obscure demon that you've learnt about that hasn't kind of been sort of popularized by film culture?
Popularized by film culture is, it has been written about in a film, but the film was very low budget, so it didn't really add up to it. So it's not kind of, you know what I mean, become massively known. I can't remember what it was called, but there was one, and it was based on an old pagan god. They're in the woods, and there's this giant stag, if you like, made of trees and stuff. I can't remember what they called it. But that was actually a pagan demon. That was one of their versions. And because the film was so low budget, no one's jumped on it. Yeah, I can't think what the film was called. I'll try and find out, and I will post it.
Okay.
But a lot of the pagan
John
gods.
says, I did have a little laugh because John says, I exorcised an entity once that felt like it was trying to hang me because Russ told him I was a descendant of Judge Jeffries. So I told it to jog on.
It did. That's basically how you carry it out, you know. It's if John had thought that was a demon at any point in time and they'd named that as a demon, he wouldn't have been able to get rid of it that easily. And this is why I think no matter what you encounter, you should always just look at it as a dark entity. And tell it to do one. John told it where to go, and it did just that. But yeah, I did get him hung by some Scottish spirit, which wasn't happy. And do you know about John Jeffries? John Jeffries. He'd killed thousands of people in like Wareham, and he enjoyed it. He took pleasure in it. And so John, having the same surname, we just said he was a descendant, and it seemed to get the desired effect.
Right, so for anyone interested, do you want to just let them know if they want to check out your demonology course, how they can do so?
So I'll put a link on here after. If that's all right with you guys, I'll put a link on your page.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can check it out. It's an interactive, and there's a bit of coursework in there. There's some old cures, sort of like some old remedies you can make to ensure spirits don't follow you home and stuff like that. You learn about the demons, the history of it. You learn about the history of parapsychology, what it is now. And then, like I said, once you've completed the course, you become part of the HCOSE. So the Harmonium Concave of Occult Exploration, which we're kind of doing lots of research in, sort of like afterlife, anything really worth investigating, out-of-body experiences. So you get to be part of that. They're both accredited courses, because obviously I'm a qualified demonologist and a parapsychologist, so the courses are accredited. There's a limited edition book which is still available at the moment, but that will be changing for my bigger book when I've finished it. But yeah, I'll put the link up, and if anyone's interested, check it out. I think you can have a look at the first couple of pages.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Russ, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Enjoyed it. No worries.
Well, hopefully I didn't kind of upset too many people. Or
no, I think you've had, quite. I was expecting you to come on and be like, "Oh, demons are real. They're here, there, and everywhere." But so
yeah,
it's taught me a lesson anyway. So, but anyway, thanks a lot for joining us, and hopefully we'll speak to you again soon. And make sure you share the links onto our page.
I will do. Thanks very much for inviting me. Take care, guys.
No worries. Thanks.
Cheers,
Bye.
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 And it's the three of us again. So before we go, because we've been on for about 47 minutes, if there's any more questions for the team, I noticed Joey's with us, so hi to Joey. She said Fran's hair's looking awesome. Funny story about Fran's hair. If you've watched yesterday's M&A TV, she sent me a video for a Ghosts in the News section, and I was like, "Oh my God, you've cut all your hair off!" It's like literally looked really short. And then she was like, "No, it's just tied back." I was like, "Oh." But yeah, it's transformed to green overnight. She's getting in with the M&A colours. I think we should all dye our hair green, Joe.
Sorry, I've got a friend.
Oh, we've got a friend. My friend's just whining at the door because the cat's gone out and he wants to go and chase the cat.
Yeah, my friend stinks because she's rolling in. She rolled in something anyway.
Lovely.
She stinks. Yeah.
Right. Lovely. If I can cut in just quickly, if you've noticed, Jode, there's two people in the chat which you should remember: Phil Davis and Jane Pickworth. Do you remember those names?
Yes, I remember. My phone wasn't loading up. I was trying to get on. I couldn't see them.
Part of our paranormal investigating past is Jane and Phil. Welcome. It's good to see you again, guys. Do
they have a view on demons they'd like to share with us? Get them to comment. Everyone else watching, just give us a little comment now. Do you believe in demons? Yes or no?
Give us a yay or no.
Or maybe. Yes, yay, nay, maybe. And Chris, you're going to have to keep an eye on them and let us pop them up on the screen as they pop in. So, yeah, anyway, as I was saying, whilst we're waiting for those answers, Jodie, I think we should all dye our hair green to mark the end of the M&A TV on the 12th episode. Yeah, you up for that?
Got hardly any hair to actually dye green, Joe. So probably not a good idea. No, I'm not doing a green beard.
So Anne is a firm no, doesn't believe in demons. Aaron Telford is a firm no. Declan Quinn is a nay.
Nay, lad, nay.
Jane, we've had a few. I'm assuming that's demons and not drinks.
Yeah.
It could mean both. It could mean both.
Either way.
To answer your question, Jane, we are absolutely fine. We're doing great. I hope you guys, and obviously I won't name them for privacy reasons, but you, Phil, and the others, I hope you're all doing really, really well. Carby Chris says maybe.
Joe says yes, from personal experience.
Thomas,
is that Joe who? Is that Joey?
Yeah, Joey. Yeah.
Wow, we should have got her on live. Joey, do you want to come on live and let us know? We'll send you a link. Thomas, Casper is not real. Anyway, Thomas, your mum says that you're scared of the dark and has to sleep with the lights on because a monster might come and get you. She also told me you sleep with a little cuddly teddy bear because you're scared.
I do. I do
Let me
like
read
this
it.
statement from Phil. I love this statement because it just sums it up beautifully. To believe in demons is to believe in absolute good and evil. There is
that's true,
no
actually, yeah.
I think my trouble with it is the reason why I can't fully commit to believing the detectives there undecided. Yeah, but the reason why I can't fully commit to believe it is because I'm not big on religion. I think no matter what religion you throw at me, I can't believe it. So, and I think demons, they sort of go hand in hand with religion. So that's sort of why I have to sit on the fence.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, I've learned a lot from the path that we've all trodden, the places we've been, and the things we've seen and heard is an experience in itself. I think if I had to sum it all up, like demons wise, I would have to say just absolutely not. Just for what we've seen, I mean, the categorization of demons as it is at the moment is a very negative force and something that changes your life so drastically. It changes the course of it, corrupting you in every way, shape, and form, and making your life a misery. Now, I've never seen or heard of a case like this before. Not once have you heard maybe someone's been driven to suicide, and in every case you find a reasonable explanation for why that's happened, or why things are happening to your friend. Or there's never been a case where if somebody posts up or tells you about, well, there's no explanation, this just happened, they're so depressed and doctors can't find an explanation. It just doesn't happen. But more than that, I mean, the places we've been and what we've been subjected to, quite frankly, what I'm hoping to subject Fran to, because I want to see how things work. I think watching Fran work is going to be a real eye opener from my perspective, to be honest with you. But from what we've seen, what we've been through, even at the tunnel, there's no evidence of it.
So before we go then, we'll just leave you with a little bit of information about what we've got coming up. So obviously next week we will... Ain't there a demon that works at the garage? Yeah, his name's Jonathan.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so what we've got coming up, we've got M&A TV again next Tuesday, which will be episode 10, and we're slowly working up to our final 12th episode, which we're going to make a little bit extra special. Tomorrow, possibly, we will have a video popping up on our Facebook page from our adventures today. We've been out socially distancing. Jody went in his car, we went in ours, and we've just been to check out the next location for the team. During the daylight, had a little wander around, picked up some areas that we think would be worth investigating, and we're going to put that on hold for now until lockdown is over, or until the time where we can get out and investigate again. And then finally, we will be having M&A live again next Wednesday, and I just want to give guys a couple of options for the topic for next week. So there's one that we've been thinking about anyway, which we almost did this week, which was sleep. So that will class on sleep paralysis, nightmares that you've had as a result of investigating a location, waking dreams where you've been seeing a spirit, or anything sleep related to do with the paranormal, really. So that is option one for next week's chat. The other option is more for us paranormal investigators, and that's a little chat about the current situation with COVID-19 and future plans for teams? When do we feel it's time to get out and about and investigate again? Is it still too soon? Are you already out and about investigating, or maybe you didn't stop at all and you want to have your view? So that is going to be the other option. So if you guys let us know which one you think you'd like the sound of and that you'd like us to focus on next Wednesday, and we'll sort that out for you. So anyone else have anything to say?
Looking down the questions.
I hear tumbleweed, but yeah.
Chris is my answer. You can't multitask and watch and look at the comments at the same time.
Yeah. So Jane Pickworth has said that it depends on what you call a demon.
Yeah, I suppose she's right. Like there's lots of ways of looking at it. But I mean, in any perspective, I don't believe we saw one at the tunnel with the knowledge I have now, and I don't believe we saw one at the Ram with the knowledge I have now.
I believe there was one at the Ram, and now what you know, with what you've kind of said with what happened at the railway tunnel, it is doubtful that there was one there.
Yeah,
thinking about it now, but I've got a strong feeling that there was one at the Ram. A really strong feeling.
Now, if you put that into practice with, with the Ram, if you think with a ley line goes through the Ram, now, if these beings are able to manipulate energy, as I said in the tunnel, think of what beings would inhabit the Ram with that ability. If they're able to, I don't know if this is possible, Fran, would they be able to tap the energy of a ley line?
Possibly. It might, it would kind of depends on how powerful they are to start with, I think.
And it's just dependent on who they are, what they can do, and who's actually there. I mean, the stories would make sense. John's stories would still make sense with them not being demons, not being what he labeled them as, and just still really quite nasty, malicious, manipulative people. That, they're just not the sort of people you want in your house, people that would torture you as soon as look at you. I mean, if they're from the times I think they are from, then it wasn't a good time, and these people would do anything to get themselves ahead. So if they thought it would gain them something by torturing John, why not? I mean, the poor man had to, I give him respect, bless him, because he tolerated it so long and he didn't back down, he didn't run away, he stuck with it. And wherever he is, bless him, but I still don't believe that they were demons. With the knowledge I have now, I don't believe that they were demons at all.
Okay.
So
I respect your opinion, mate. I do, really do. But
like I say, everyone's got their own views, and
we've got our different.
I think it's good though for a team to have different views on all aspects of the paranormal, because that's one way that we can keep ourselves unbiased and not jump into the conclusion that everything's a ghost, everything's a demon, because we've all got that different opinions, different views that we can sort of share between ourselves. So I think that's quite a good thing as a team to have.
Yeah, definitely.
Hobe and Timmins, you'll be able to watch it back. You should be up on Facebook as a replayable.
And YouTube. It sometimes takes about a day or so to to reappear, or a few hours at least anyway. So as we found out last week, because somebody tried to rewatch last week, and
Jane, we will catch up at some point, and once lockdown is over, I think we should possibly try and catch up and whatnot. Thanks for joining us, Jane. Paranormal Detectives, I'm going to go ahead and guess that's Nathan with his naughty humour earlier on as well.
So I'll later.
Oh, hang on, before you go. So obviously, Nathan's asked, has Jodie's opinion changed since the Ram or not?
No.
I think he'd already had that opinion, but we just hadn't really had that discussion amongst ourselves. So I wasn't aware that he fully believed in demons until tonight. And so we learn something new every day. I think until you come across somewhere, I mean, because to be honest, it never even crossed my mind before we went to the Ram, or while we were at the Ram, there could possibly be a demon there. And it's only since we've been talking about this episode for tonight that I thought to myself, well, maybe it was a demon, because there's supposed to be demon activity there. But yeah, so anyway, guys, I think we're going to call it a night. So thanks all for watching, and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week.
Yep, see you next week, guys.
We'll fill you in, Joey. Michelle will message you about what you missed, because Joey is asking
Joey.
what's the opinion that I missed from Jodie.
Right, okay.
Someone will have to message her. All right.
Jodie, you can message her.
Yeah, Jodie, you message her, please.
Okay, will do. See you later.
Thank you.
Go.
Right, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for your interactions and your questions. See you all soon. And I think we should end with your traditional goodbye, Fran.
Love and light, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you later, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh. Press end live.
I know, I'm getting there.